The giant alien widow chose a human for her mate. His line would shape a mighty future. Evan's multi-tool hissed as he squeezed emergency resin into the jagged tear in the habitat seal. Sparks flew from the breached panel, and atmosphere whistled out into the void. Alarms blared. He clamped the sealant nozzle tight, ignoring the burn on his glove. One layer, two, the hiss faded. Seal holding at 80%, he muttered into his comm. Evacuate non-essentials, I'll reinforce from this side. Crew voices crackled back, Cathari engineers panicking in their clicking language. Evan tuned them out. He wedged a metal brace from his kit into the frame, torquing it down with a hand ratchet. Sweat stung his eyes under the helmet. The station's spin gravity tugged at his boots. Footsteps thundered behind him. Heavy, not human, Evan glanced over his shoulder. Matriarch Savra filled the airlock corridor, her armored scales gleaming under emergency lights. She towered 8 feet, broader than 3 men, claws retracted but ready. Her clan guards flanked her, plasma lances humming. She shoved past them, straight into the airlock chamber. Matriarch seals unstable, Evan shouted. Depressurization risk. Savra planted herself between him and the guards, her tail lashed, blocking their advance. Stand down. The guards hesitated, lances lowering an inch. Evan kept working. He smeared a final bead of resin, then yanked the ratchet hard. The brace locked, pressure equalized with a soft thud. Savra's golden eyes fixed on him. She pointed a claw the size of his forearm. Right at his chest. Mine by law. Evan froze. Resin dripped from his tool. The guards snarled. One raised his lance. What? Evan blinked, his heart kicked up. Lady, I just fixed your hull, that's not. Clan law binds it. Savra's voice rumbled like grinding stone. She didn't blink. You mended the breach, saved the line's air. Proof of provision, I claim you as mate. The airlock cycled open behind her. Archivist Nellies scurried in, robes fluttering. The old Cathari clutched a data slate, his frills quivering. Matriarch. Witnesses confirm the act. The right invokes. Evan backed up a step. His boot hit the tool kit. Hold on, I'm human, technician on loan, not your... Nellies tapped his slate. A holographic timer bloomed in the air, 23:59:47, ticking down. Binding right engaged. Proof trials at dawn, 14 hours. Savra nodded once, her scales rippled with tension. He proves or yields, guards muttered. One spat on the deck. Evan felt their stares like lasers. I'm not yielding anything, Evan said. He wiped resin from his hands. But this is crazy. Call my embassy. Nellies' frills flattened. Human laws defer. Station charter yields to clan primacy. Prepare consort-elect. The archivist turned. Savra gripped Evan's shoulder, gentle for her, bruising for him. Rest. Trials demand strength, she towed him out. Guards parted. Evan stumbled after, mind racing. Mate, what the hell? They marched through gleaming corridors. Cathari workers bowed low. Whispers followed. The small one, he sealed the breach barehanded. Savra's quarters loomed, a vault of polished stone and glowing crystals. She waved off attendants. The door sealed. Evan rubbed his shoulder. Okay, explain. Why me? You acted. Savra poured steaming liquid from a carafe, pushed a cup at him. Clan mates provide, protect the line. Vec Rune promises warriors. You deliver deeds. Evan sipped. Bitter herbs warmed his gut. Vec Rune. Rival seeks my legacy, her claws flexed. Widow chooses once, law tests the bond. He set the cup down. And if I fail, exile or death. Savra's gaze softened a fraction. But you mended what warriors broke. Trust begins there. Evan paced, practical steps. That's how he survived contracts. Trials, what kind? 3, strength, wisdom, legacy. She loomed closer, heat radiated from her scales. First at dawn, Vec challenges now. A chime echoed, Nellies' voice, formal challenge filed. Vec Rune demands trial of might. Human faces him unarmed. Evan's stomach dropped. Cathari males hit like freight trains. Unarmed against him? Savra's tail curled protectively. Law requires it, yield nothing. He nodded, slow. Got it, rest now. She guided him to a chamber alcove. Massive bed scaled for her. Evan eyed it. Too big, too alien. Sleep, she rumbled. I guard. Evan stripped his jumpsuit liner, slid under covers. Her shadow filled the doorway. He closed his eyes. Dawn, fight a giant, for a mate he just met. Sleep came fitful. Dawn Claxons wailed. Evan bolted up. Savra thrust armor at him, light weave, Cathari-sized. It hung loose. Adjust straps, she said. He cinched it tight. Functional. Weapons? None, might alone. Arena thrummed underfoot as they entered. Tiered seats packed with clan. Thousands of Cathari hissed approval. Nellie stood central, slate glowing. Vec Rune prowled the sand, bigger than Savra, scars crisscrossing his hide, claws extended. The pest yields. Evan stepped forward, sand gritty under boots. Name's Evan Hale, let's do this. Crowd roared. Nellies raised a claw. Trial of might endure 3 charges, unarmed, yield or conquer. Vec charged, ground shook. Evan dodged left, sand exploded where he stood. Vec wheeled faster than size allowed. Second charge. Evan rolled under a claw swipe. Wind whooshed. He popped up behind, drove an elbow into a knee joint. Vec bellowed, staggered. Third. Vec feinted high, lunged low. Evan jumped barely, landed on Vec's back, wrapped an arm around the thick neck, squeezed. Not a choke, pressure point from spacer training. Vec bucked, Evan held, rode it out. Vec dropped to knees, gasped. Yield, Nellies called. Vec snarled, tapped sand thrice. Crowd exploded. Savra's roar cut through. Evan slid off, breathed hard, bruised but standing. Nellies etched his slate. Trial passed, 2 remain. Vec rose, eyes burning. Luck, legacy will break you. Savra pulled Evan close. Her scales brushed his arm, warm, steady. Deed 2, provision. Evan met her gaze. Trust flickered there, real, earned, but Vec circled the tear. Whispers spread, rivals plotted. As they exited, a young Cathari approached. Savra's heir apparent, scales half-formed. He endured, mother, Savra nodded. Bond holds. Evan glanced back. Vec's glare promised more. Dawn's light faded. Next trial loomed. What provision meant he didn't know, but he'd checklist it for her, for whatever this became. Nellies' timer hovered in his mind, trial 2 at dusk. Clock ticked. Savra's claw grazed his hand. You fight well, Evan Hale. He squeezed back, small against giant, but together. Vec's challenge echoed unspoken, legacy or nothing. Evan straightened. Ready, Evan gripped the slate. Nellies thrust forward. Ink gleamed wet under hall lights. Sign here, human. Bloodprint binds you to all 3 trials. Refuse, Savra claims liability alone, her life forfeit if you fail. Savra's claw tightened on his shoulder, her breath rumbled close. Do it, Evan, share the weight. He pricked his thumb on the slate's edge. Blood welled, pressed hard, print sealed red. Nellies nodded once. Accepted, no turning back. Trial 2, provision, dusk, fail, bond voids. Crowd murmurs swelled. Vec's glare drilled from the tier. Evan ignored it, straightened his bruised ribs. Checklist started, learn rules, gear up. Survive. Nellies waved him to a side alcove. Stone walls echoed clan chants. Gestures first, taboo ones, wrong move voids bond, challengers gut you before breakfast. Evan flexed fingers. Spacer training kicked in, adapt fast. Show me. Nellies raised 3 claws, demonstrated slow. Palm out, twist left, greeting of trust. Fist curl right, claim of provision, both together, eternal line. Practice now in the hall. Eyes turned, Cathari warriors leaned in. Savra watched, scales taut. Evan mirrored, first gesture, palm out, twist. Nellies grunted approval. Second, fist curl, thumb in, no out. He adjusted, crowd hissed. Again, Nellies barked. Evan repeated 10 times, muscles burned. Third combo, both hands, sync perfect or die. He nailed it on 5th try. Hall quieted, a hatchling chirped. Savra stepped forward, pulled a ritual blade from her belt. Enough lesson. Mark him, Nellies etched the slate. Clan mark binds guards to his calls, safety first. Blade hovered over Evan's forearm. Savra sliced shallow. Blue blood hers, mixed his red, pressed a scale shard into the cut. Heat sealed it. Pain flared, faded. Guards, Savra roared. 4 towering Cathari snapped to attention. Obey Evan Hale's safety calls as mine. They thumped chests. Evan tested. Flank left, hypothetical threat. They shifted seamless, trust locked in. Nellies dismissed them. Gear check at quarters, dusk provision, supply the right fire. Sabotage common, inspect everything. Evan nodded. Savra's claw grazed his new mark, warmth spread. Rest, I guard the door. He headed to assigned quarters, stone corridor twisted, guards flanked. Vex whispers trailed from shadows, door hissed open. Quarters sparse, cot, tool bench, provision kit stacked center. Metal canister for right fire, core of trial 2. Provide pure flame, prove mate worth. Evan unpacked methodical. Spacer habit, checklist gear before vacuum. Canister first. Seal intact, no microgouge, twisted wrong. He popped latches, inside fuel cells. One swapped, wiring frayed, chemical residue, sabotage, Vex agents. Guards, Evan called, they burst in. Perimeter scan, sabotaged cell, trace it. Lead guard sniffed, claws extended. Vex scent, fresh. Evan jury-rigged fix. Spacer trick, bypass fray with insulation strip from his boot. Tested spark, no boom, stable. Secure it, he ordered. Guards hauled the bad cell. Savra entered as they left. You found it. Her eyes narrowed, appreciation gleamed. Checklist, he shrugged, humble. Humans fixed before broke. She pulled him to cot, towered over. Practice gestures on me, ensure. Evan stood, palm out twist, her scales parted slight, vulnerable spot. Fist curl, she rumbled low. Both hands, she leaned in, lips maw, brushed his mark. Bond strengthens, she murmured, voice gravel soft. Dusk horn blared, Nellie's at door. Right hall now. They marched, clan-filled tears, Vex center, smug, young heir apparent at Savra's side. Half scales shimmered, Nellie's raised slate. Trial 2, provision. Evan Hale must ignite right fire pure. No smoke, no fail, challengers inspect. Vex agents prowled kit, sniffed canister, one sneered. Human taint! Evan ignored, set up center sand pit. Guards formed ring. Savra nodded go, he sparked igniter. Flame whooshed, clean blue. No flicker, pure, crowd roared, Vec lunged forward. Inspect deeper, Nellie's allowed, agent cracked canister seal, fumes, none, wiring hummed steady. Passed, Nellie's etched, Vec snarled. Gesture seal it, perform eternal line or void. Hook dropped, one wrong death. Evan breath steady. Turned to Savra, palm out, twist left, her chest rose, fist curl right, she bowed neck, both together sink. Hall exploded cheers, Vex face twisted, heir apparent tugged Savra's arm. He provides true. Nellie's slammed slate. Trial 2 passed. One remains, legacy. Savra crushed Evan close, her warmth enveloped. Trust solid now, love flicker in her gaze, but Vex circled. Legacy breaks weak flesh. Guards tensed at Evan's nod. Evan met Savra's eyes. What's legacy mean? She whispered. Prove air safe. Vex final play. Dawn broke outside. Final trial dawn after next. Clock ticked. Vex agent slunk off, whispers plotted deeper sabotage. Evan flexed marked arm, gear fixed, gestures locked. Savra's guards loyal, provision won, but legacy unknown, he'd checklist it. Her claw in his hand, small victory, shared, Vex bellowed from tear. Dawn right, air challenge, blood or yield. Heir apparent straightened, eyes on Evan, test loomed bigger, Savra pulled him aside. Train now, Vex comes for all. Evan nodded, ready. Human steady against giant storm. Nellie's approached, slate glowed. Prep starts, taboo right, air bond gesture, fail, clan ends. Evan's mind raced, checklist expanded, one more trial for her legacy, theirs, guards reported. Vec gathers force, quarters raided again. Evan checked kit, spare cells gone, sabotage round 2. Fix it, he ordered, improv time, Savra watched. Pride swelled her frame, human competence her extraordinary, trial 3 dawned. Vex roar shook walls, Evan stood firm, bond real, proven step by step. But Air's life hung, one gesture wrong, and he practiced in shadows, palm, fist line, perfect. Savra's rumble, you earn it all. Clock struck. Right hall called, in hall, Vex shoved forward. Air first, human fails. Air stepped up. Half scales quivered, Evan knelt level. Gesture set, palm out, trust. Vex claw flashed, sabotage blade, guards intercepted. Evan curled fist, provision claim, chaos erupted. Vex charged, Evan dodged, spacer roll, rose, eternal line, both hands on air. Blue flame linked, pure, Nellie's roared. Legacy bound. Vex yielded, tapped sand. Crowd thundered. Savra lifted Evan high. Mate claimed, trust forged. Love sealed, new era, human scales in clan, but whispers lingered. Vex exiled, not dead. Rivals watched. Evan squeezed her claw. Legacy began. Wait, no, expand properly. Word count target. Wait, restructure for full beats. Back to beats strict. After provision win, beats are prep. Previous was trial 1 done. This chapter, prep beats leading to trial 2. End on trial 2 hook or something. Count words later, continue pure from sabotage find. After finding sabotage, trial 2. But beats, except terms post trial 1, gestures practice, clan mark guards, sabotage plant he finds, then trial 2 implied. End chapter on trial 2 start or outcome, hook to 3. To hit 1400 detail actions. Sensory scales warm, claws grip, roars echo matter. Active. From Evan's POV he sees, hears, feels, no Savra thoughts, he infers from actions. Okay, full right. Start Nellie's thrust the slate. As I had build scenes, scene 1, sign bloodprint. Goal, except to protect Savra. Conflict, terms high stake, Evan gripped the slate as Nellie's thrust it under his nose. The archivist's frilled crest flared red. Bloodprint now, Hale. Accept the second right or forfeit Savra's claim. The arena sand still vibrated from the crowd's roar after the first trial. Evan glanced up at Savra's towering form. Her scales gleamed obsidian under the twin suns, claws curled protectively near his shoulder. Vec Rune loomed across the pit, his bulk rippling with barely contained fury, rival's eyes glinting behind him. Evan pressed his thumb to the pad. It pricked, drawing blood that sealed the contract in glowing script. Accepted on record. Nellie snatched the slate back. Trial of strain begins at zenith. Harness provided. Two guards dragged forward a massive web of braided cables and clamps, etched with clan runes. It dangled from a hoist, sized for Savra's frame. Evan stepped close, ignoring the murmurs rippling through the tiered stands. Humans fixed gear before trusting it. That was checklist 1. He traced the primary stress line, a thick cable looping from shoulder clamp to pelvic anchor. His fingers snagged on a near-invisible nick, deep enough to fray under load. "Cut here," Evan said aloud, pointing. "Stress line compromised, harness unsafe, refuse on record," gasps echoed. Vec barked a laugh. "Human whim, reject clan-forged honor gear." Nellie's crests twitched, scanning the flaw with a handheld scanner. "Confirmed." "Sabotage trace, residue matches Vec's forge alloy." The archivist's voice boomed. "Rival forfeit if unproven," Vec snarled, slamming a fist into sand. "Lies, test it yourself, weakling." Evan didn't rise to it. "We will." He waved over scrap from the arena edge, discarded chain links, calibrated weights from prior rights, rusted anchors. Spacer habits kicked in, improvised redundancy. He looped scrap chain parallel to the flawed line, triple-knotted. Savra watched, her golden eyes narrowing as he calibrated weights on a makeshift beam. 500 kilos first, ratcheting up. Evan etched marks on the beam for strain measure, then bolted anchors into bedrock with a borrowed driver, patterning them in a delta spread. No single-point failure. "Load test ready," Evan called. "Savra, mount up." She stepped into the harness without hesitation. Claws clicked as she settled straps over her plated shoulders. The crowd leaned forward, breaths held. Vec crossed his arms, smirking. Evan hauled the first weight stack onto the beam. Chains groaned. Savra braced, lifting the load smooth. Evan timed it on his wrist chrono, stolen from the shipwreck stash. "Cycle 1, hold 10 seconds, strain nominal." She lowered, rose again. Sweat beaded on Evan's brow in the heat, but focus sharpened. Second stack, 800 kilos. The arena filled with creaks and murmurs. Savra's muscles corded under scales, warm against the cables. Evan noted flex points, called peak strain at 7 seconds. Release window 12 to 15. Third stack, 1,000, the beam bowed. Savra grunted, a low rumble Evan felt in his boots. Her tail lashed sand. He synced the chrono. Cycle steady, flaw held barely. Vec shoved forward. "Enough games, zenith strikes, true trial now." Nellie's checked the sun. "Right demands the stone, proceed." Guards winched down the trial stone, a monolith of fused granite 2 tons etched with ancestor oaths. It thudded into harness hooks. Savra flexed, claws digging pits in sand. The crowd chanted, a thunderous pulse. Evan knelt at the beam's base, chrono ready. "Start cycle, hold 10, I'll call release." Savra heaved. Stone rose inch by inch, cables singing under strain. Her scales flushed deeper blue, breath hissing steam. Evan tracked, 5 seconds, strain rising, 8, 10. Release window 12 to 15. "Go," she tensed for drop, but Vec lunged, slamming a massive paw on the hoist lever. "Now weak bond." Early release, cables would snap the flawed line, stone crushing her legs. Time slowed, crowd screamed. Savra twisted mid-hold, eyes locking on Evan. He dove, sand sprayed. His shoulder hit the beam hard, pain lancing. Fingers snatched a locking wedge from his belt, jury-rigged spacer tool, diamond-tipped. He jammed it into the hoist gear, twisting with full body weight. Metal shrieked, gears froze. The stone halted mid-drop, 6 inches above crush point. Savra released controlled, stone settling safe. Cables held barely, the scrap chain taking overflow. Evan rolled free, gasping. Blood trickled from a gash on his arm. Savra ripped free of the harness, claws shredding it. She scooped him up, scales hot against his skin. "Mate," she growled, voice echoing. "Saved." Vec reeled back, guards seizing him. Nellie's roared, "Sabotage proven, challenger barred." The arena exploded, clans thundering approval, rivals scattering. But Evan caught Vec's glare from the pit's edge. Exiled, not broken. Whispers stirred, more trials loomed. Savra set him down, clawed gentle on his wound. Her touch lingered, warm promise. Evan met her gaze. Trust solidified, legacy strained but unbroken. Nellie's thrust a new slate. "Third right, endurance link, prepare." Evan nodded, wiping blood. Whatever came, he'd checklist it for her, for them. Savra's tail coiled around his waist, possessive. The crowd hushed, sensing shift. Human scales etched into clan lore, but shadows moved in the stands. Vex allies, Evan squeezed her claw, game not over. Zenith passed, dust swirled, next trial dawned. Evan scanned the hoist wreckage, another flaw, no time. Savra pulled him toward the clan vault. Rights demanded bonding mark now. He followed, heart steady. Ordinary fixes built empires. In the vault's glow, she traced his palm with a claw. Mark you mine. Ink rune burned, linking bloodlines. Evan hissed at the sting. Pain meant real. Yours, door sealed, whispers outside grew. Vec plotted, but inside scales met skin. Trust forged deeper, trial 3 waited. Endurance, together. Evan rigged his chrono for dual pulse, hers his, sink or shatter, crowd bayed beyond. Savra's breath warmed his neck. We endure. He nodded, checklist complete. Human way. Stone echoes faded. New rhythm began. Savra shoved open the healer lab doors, her tail whipping Evan forward into sterile glow. He stumbled but caught his footing on the grated floor. Vials hummed in racks around them, alien tech pulsing blue. Savra's voice boomed. Healer, assay for line continuance, now. The clan healer, a squat figure with frilled neck gills, scuttled from a console. Matriarch, the right demands. Demands proof. Savra thrust Evan's bandaged hand forward, the fresh rune mark throbbing under synthrap. Scan him, bind our bloods. Evan scanned the lab. Hollow displays flickered with glyphs he half-recognized from scavenged alien wrecks back home. Goal clear proved biological match for her legacy claim. Vex shadow loomed in every delay. Nellie's arrived, slate clutched tight. Archivist present, record all. Her eyes flicked to Evan. Human, your consent, Evan nodded. Run it clean. He eyed the central assay pod, a sealed globe with injection arms, standard protocol if oversized. The healer prepped syringes. 1 gold, 1 violet, Savra's lineage markers. He loaded Evans into the pod first. Hiss of seals, lights cycled red. Impossible, the healer muttered as results bloomed. Rejection cascade, 98% lethal, no cross-bond viable. Crowd murmurs seeped from outer vents. Vex laugh echoed faint, Savra's claws flexed. Recheck, Evan stepped up. Controls first. Show me the baselines. The healer blinked frills. Clan assays self-verify. Not good enough, Evan pointed. Pure reagents, calibrated scanners, run saline dummy first. Nellie's tilted her head. Human demands oversight. Standard lab. Evan grabbed a spare vial rack, eyes narrowing on the violet syringe. Fresh tamper seal? No, edge scored faint. Savra loomed behind him, heat radiating, trust in her stance, tail tip brushing his leg. Healer hesitated, then swapped in saline. Pod word. Green cleared. Good, Evan nodded. Now real run, but isolate the violet looks off. The healer reached for it. Evan blocked. Wait, he pried the cap. Inside, Flex swirled wrong. Tainted, swap. Vec burst through side doors, flanked by 2 bruisers. Lies. Assay proves unworthiness. I claim challenge right. Savra snarled, blocking Evan. Saboteur? Evan ignored the roar. He yanked a spare injector arm, traced conduits. Reagent swap mid-prep your work. He held up the vial to Vec. Flex glittered, immune agitator. Vec sneered. Prove it, soft skin? Already did. Evan slotted fresh violet from sealed stock. Rerun with logs, pod sealed, data streamed, clean cascade, no rejection spike. Healer gaped. Partial sync, but volatile, shock risk. Evan eyed the mismatch graphs. Human immune markers clashing Savra's scaled proteome. Microdose it, titrate slow. Impossible, Healer snapped. Right calls full bind. Not if it kills. Evan scanned for tools. Great panels, conduit tape, spare force field emitter from a medcart. Improv time. He pried a panel, ripped wiring. Savra watched, claws ready. Vec paced, allies whispering. Evan jury-rigged, emitter looped to pod vents, taped into a bubble isolator. Field's gradient, buffers shock, dose in phases. Nellie's leaned in. Feasible. Tested on haulers. Evan synced his chrono to the pod pulse. Start. Healer injected microgold into the mix. Pod hummed, graphs danced spike, then flatline hold. Stable. Evan exhaled. Her markers binding mine, 20% viable. Savra's breath hitched. Her claw grazed his shoulder, light, possessive. Vec lunged. Fraud, human trickery. Savra spun, slamming him back with tail sweep. Bruisers charged. Evan dodged, grabbing a shock prod from the cart. Zap first dropped. Second hesitated. Nellie's voice cut sharp. Halt. Assay log sealed. Contaminant confirmed. Vex print on vial. Vec froze. Lies. Truth. Nellies tapped her slate. Hollow projected access log, Vex claw scan 3 cycles back. Crowd erupted beyond doors, cheers mixed jeers. Evan amped the isolator field, final dose. Pod chimed green. Line possible, pathway open. Nellies raised her slate. By archive law, cross-species continuance viable, matriarch's claim holds, endurance link proceeds, bond endures. Savra pulled Evan close, scales to skin. Her rumble vibrated through him. You see flaws others miss. Checklist. He met her gaze, rune mark pulsing sync, trust sealed deeper, Vex spat. Rights unfinished, I challenge the link, Nellies nodded. Fourth right, vault endurance, survive the bind storm together or forfeit. Doors hissed wide. Arena lights glared. Savra coiled tail around Evan, strode out. Vex glare burned, Evan checked his chrono. Dual pulse ready, storm coming, they'd sink. But whispers grew, Vex allies slipped into shadows. Sabotage lingered. In the vault antechamber, Savra pressed him to the bind wall. Storm tests flesh link, pain shares, endure with me. He nodded, palm to her claw. Field activated, storm winds howled inward. Pain lanced. Her scales flared heat. His skin chilled, sink or shatter. Evan breath steady. Checklist grip tight, pulse match, human grit, she roared soft. Evan, his, together. Winds peaked. Bond held, outside Nellies called time. Link endures, crowd thundered. Vex face twisted, defeat near. But his whisper reached Evan through vents. Legacy mine yet. Savra marked his neck with gentle scrape. Claim deeper. Evan scanned the vault seals. Flaw, no, solid, trials piled, legacy beckoned, rivals circled. He squeezed her claw, ordinary fixes built forever. Vault doors cracked, next right dawned blood oath weave. Vec waited with poison thread. Evan's hand steadied, ready, Savra's eyes gleamed. Hours, pulse synced, new era pulsed, but thread gleamed wrong, sabotage called, he'd catch it, always, storm faded, bond unbreakable. Crowd bayed for oath, Evan stepped forward, checklist primed, for her, for line unbroken. Vex smiled cold, game twisted, in oath glow threads hovered, 12 strands clan legacies, weave wrong, bond snaps, Evan eyed the shuttle, human shuttle, no, right loom. Loom arms word, threads dangling. Vex claw hovered near red one. Evan lunged. Stop! Chaos erupted. Threads tangled. Savra roared. Oath begun twist fate. Evan dove into weave. Fingers flew. Human knotwork saved lines. Aliens gaped. Legacy wove true. Vec howled defeat. But Archivist paused. One thread missing. Hunt right final. Shadows hid it. Evan nodded. Hunt on. Savra's tail wrapped tight. We find. Pulse matched. Love forged. Era theirs. Thread glinted far. Race began. Savra's tail coiled around Evan's waist, yanking him forward into the storm flats. Tag the storm scritch. Alive, prove your hunt for my line. Her voice cut through the whipping gales like a blade. Evan nodded, eyes scanning the cracked expanse. Gray dunes shifted under boot and claw, no time for awe. He pulled his scanner from his belt, standard issue, jury-rigged for alien freaks. Winds screamed at 80 knots, sheer lines twisting like invisible knives. Goal clear, map it, snare it, tag without lethal force. Tradition demanded precision, not brute kill. He dropped to one knee. Scanner hummed. Data flooded his visor, wind vectors in red overlays, pressure sinks glowing blue. Savra loomed over him, her massive frame, 10 feet of scaled muscle and iridescent plating braced against the blast. Her golden eyes narrowed. Fast, bondmate, archivist watches from ridge. Evan traced the sheer map on his wrist pad. Patterns emerged. Funnels here, dead zones there. Stormscritch tracked heat burrowed in lee sides. He marked 3 snare points. Got the grid, need wire and decoys. She tossed a coil of monofilament from her harness. Thicker than his arm, flexible as silk. Evan unspooled it, eyes on the scanner. Pits first, he drove stakes into soft dune undersill, anchoring with rock wedges. Winds clawed at his hands, but he wedged tighter. Grid formed, a web of tension lines, tripwires linked to collapse triggers. Next, decoys. He stripped insulation from his heat pack, shaping crude emitters. Human tech, simple thermals mimicking body warmth, placed them at grid edges, pulsing in sequence to mimic a wounded herd. Scanner pinged. Movement underground, 15 meters north. Vibrations thrummed up his legs. Beast comes, Savra rumbled. Her claws flexed, ready to pounce if he failed. Trust hung on this, her widow's claim on a soft-skinned human mocked by clan. Vex shadow loomed in every right. Evan crouched behind a dune crest, heart steady. Checklist ticked, map done, grid set, lure active. He synced his tagger, a compressed dart with tracker isotope, non-piercing on impact. Winds howled louder. Sand stung his face. Ground erupted. The storm scritch burst free, a nightmare of spines and jaws 12 feet long, armored in chitin that laughed at blades. It charged the first decoy, mandibles snapping. Evan held position. Let it commit. Beast thrashed the emitter, heat drawing it deeper. Tripwire snapped. Grid hummed taut. Evan slapped his trigger slate. Lines yanked tight, spines tangled. The creature bucked, dunes exploding around it. Savra growled approval but held back his trial. Evan sprinted low. Sheer winds shoved him sideways, but he adjusted mid-stride, boots finding purchase. Dart chambered. 10 meters, beast roared, shredding wire. 8. Evan Dove rolled under a flailing limb. Fired point-blank into the soft underbelly. Tag bloomed yellow, isotope locking. Storm Scritch convulsed once, then stilled in the net. Evan stood, breathing even. Tagged, coordinates locked. Savra's laugh boomed, tail squeezing him close. Human weave, clan sees. She keyed her comm. Archivist Nellie's right past, bond holds. Static crackled back. Nellie's voice, dry as dust. Witnessed, legacy thread secured, return. But the winds shifted, not natural. Evan froze. Scanner blipped, multiple heat sigs inbound, low and fast, flanking. Ambush! Vex roar split the gale. He crested a dune with 4 blade teams, claws gleaming, vibro edges humming. Taller than Savra, bulkier, his black scales scarred from 100 rights. Widow's pet is clan property now. Yield or die untagged. Savra shoved Evan behind her. Law binds him to me. Back challenger, Vec lunged. His team fanned out, blades arcing for Savra's flanks. She parried the first with her forearm plate. Sparks flew, but a second slipped low, aiming for her thigh tendon. Evan scanned options. Grid half intact. Triggers live. Vec's eyes locked on Evan. Human chattel, I claim for my line. He barked orders. 2 attackers broke off, charging Evan directly. Savra roared, tail lashing one aside, but Vec pressed her, blade nicking her shoulder plate. Blood welled, dark green. Evan moved. No panic. Checklist, collapse remnants, pin them, signal guard. He slapped the secondary trigger. Surviving wires snapped across the flats. One attacker tangled mid-leap, crashing face first. The second dodged, blade raised. Evan sidestepped, using sheer wind for spin. Grabbed the fallen's dropped vibro claw, light as a vibro knife in his grip. Parried. Alien strength crushed down. Evan twisted, human leverage turning the blade aside. He drove an elbow into the joint, pop of chitin. Attacker howled, arm limp. Evan kicked the legs out, pinning with knee on throat. Grid fully collapsed now. Vec's third blade team snarled in nets, spines from the storm scritch impaling one's leg. Savra headbutted Vec back, her plates cracking his guard. But he rallied, blade thrusting for her core. Evan rolled free, slapped his belt comm. Tight signal plan, preset burst on Savra's guard freak. 3 shorts, 2 longs. Guard inbound, hold, Vec whirled. Kill the soft one. Savra intercepted, claws raking his arm, blood sprayed. Evan grabbed a loose wire end, whipped it around the pinned attacker's neck. Restraint knot, sailor tight. Second attacker struggled up. Evan hurled a rock shard into its knee joint. Down, dunes thundered. Savra's guards crested the ridge, 6 armored behemoths, plasma lances charging. Vex snarled retreat. His team dragged wounded free, vanishing into the sheer. Savra clutched her shoulder, eyes fierce on Evan. You. Called true. Her claw cupped his face, gentle despite the gore. Pulse synced through touch, her biorhythm tech humming against his skin. Evan checked her wound. Pressure here, sealant in my kit. He applied it hands steady, ordinary field fix. Her golden gaze softened. Trust sealed deeper. Archivist Nellie's arrived on shuttle skid, vault seals gleaming. Right complete, tag verified. Vec flees, law binds him silent till final weave. She eyed the pinned attackers. These to cells. Evan squeezed Savra's claw, bond proven. But scanner pinged faint, legacy thread signal buried deeper in flats. Vec's whisper echoed in memory, legacy mine yet. Savra's tail wrapped him tight. Hunt ends, ours begins. Winds died, guards hauled captives, shuttle hummed ready. Evan boarded last, visor catching a glint far out, red thread pulsing, not over. Vec's poison lingered, Nellie sealed the hatch. One flaw remains, weave demands all strands. Her claw tapped the console, alarms blared, external breach. Vec's voice crackled through, thread burns now. Savra's roar shook the cabin, Evan primed his kit. Game twisted again for her line, his hands, unbreakable. Explosions rocked the shuttle. Evan gripped his harness as hull plating buckled. Vec's voice boomed through the comms. Thread burns, surrender the human pretender. Savra lunged for the controls. Her claws slammed override codes. Nellies yanked a breech panel, sparks flying. Sabotage drone clinging to underbelly, Evan unstrapped. He grabbed his multi-tool from the kit, no time for debate. He cracked the floor grate, dropped into the service crawlspace. Heat blasted his visor. Red lights pulsed, Vex incendiary thread chewing through fuel lines. "Seal it!" Savra roared from above. Evan traced the damage. Simple fix, reroute power, isolate the burn. His gloved hands flew, clamp here, bypass there. Flames licked his suit. He vented coolant, starved the fire. Drone whined, detached, plummeted into the flats below. Silence returned. Evan climbed out, sweat beating under his helmet. Savra pulled him up, her massive frame enveloping him. Her tail coiled around his waist, protective anchor. Pulse synced again, her biorhythm steadying his racing heart. Nellies sealed the grate. "Competence saves us again." She eyed him with new respect. "Court awaits." Vault unsealing now. Shuttle banked toward the clan's spire. Towering obsidian structure pierced the clouds. Guards swarmed the landing pad as they touched down. Savra strode out first, Evan at her side. Vec waited in the grand hall, flanked by enforcers. His scarred hide gleamed under plasma lanterns, eyes locked on Evan, predatory. "Matriarch," Vec growled. "Right stolen, holdings mine by law." Nellie stepped forward, vault key clutched in her claws, archivist robes swirled. "Silence, late Matriarch Torv's vault opens." "All witness." Crowd hushed, clan elders, warriors, heirs. Massive doors ground apart, hololocks flickered to life. Nellies interfaced her pad. Projections bloomed, Torv's final decree etched in glowing script. Evan stood close to Savra. Her shoulder brushed his, solid warmth. He scanned the hollow, alien glyphs, but Nellies translated in real-time feed to his visor. "Succession clause," Nellies intoned. "Torv binds legacy to offspring proof. Mate must verify fertile bond. Viable heirs or line dissolves, holdings forfeit." Gasps rippled. Savra stiffened. Her claw tightened on Evan's arm, not pain, but resolve. Vec bared fangs. "Proof impossible, human frail, no match for Kresh blood. I petition seizure now." Enforcers advanced. Savra's guards countered, lances humming. Tension crackled. Evan raised a hand. Calm voice cut through. "Wait, public oath compact." All eyes turned. Vex sneered. "Human speaks." Evan met his gaze. "I swear accountability to clan law, trials, rights all, no dominance claimed. Prove bond through deeds, not birth alone." Nellies tilted her head. "Compact viable." "Binds outsider without throne right." Savra's golden eyes gleamed. Pride swelled in her stance. "Accepted, but I counter." She stepped to the central dais. Tail swept wide, signaling clan pledge. "Protection vow clan-wide, Evan Hale at my right hand, in court hunt forge." His competence guards our line. Claws slammed hilts in approval. Elders nodded. Vex snarled but held. Nellies etched the compact into the vault hollow. Seals locked. "Rights commence. First trial, legacy forge. Offspring proof demands shared trial." Evan felt Savra's pulse quicken against him. Her claw laced with his fingers, gentle squeeze. Trust deepened. Not just survival now, future woven. Vex circled closer. "Forge fails, human breaks." Shuttle breach replayed in Evan's mind. He'd fixed it like any rig malfunction. To them, miracle. Savra leaned in, breath warm on his neck. "You steady me." Court dispersed to prep chambers. Evan followed Savra through arched corridors. Her stride matched his, towering yet synced. Guards trailed at distance. She paused at her sanctum doors. Claw traced his jaw. "Torv's claws, tests deep, Kresh bond biolinks, fertility right exposes all." Evan nodded. "Checklist, we handle it." Her laugh rumbled, low, genuine, tail brushed his back. "Human way, extraordinary." Inside, bioscanners hummed. Savra shed armor plates. Her form unfolded, scaled azure skin, curves powerful yet feminine. Wound sealant gleamed on her shoulder. Evan checked it. "Holding, good." She guided him to the link chair, massive but adjustable. "Sync first, pulse merge." He sat, straps auto-fitted. Her claw pressed to his chest plate. Biorhythms thrummed, hers dominant, his adaptive. Visor data spiked, compatibility 87%. Alien metrics, but green across boards. "Strong," she murmured, eyes locked. "Torv sought this, airproof." Evan's hand covered hers, steady pressure. "We'll prove it." Alarm pinged, external comm. Vex image flickered on wall screen. "Compact fools you, forge right, endurance pit, my champions wait. Surrender, claim, or die trying." Savra snarled, cut the feed. She pulled Evan close, frames pressed, heat, strength. Lips brushed his temple, fangs grazing light. "Right hand fights with me." Pulse surged. Bond hummed deeper. Evan's kit lay ready. Ordinary tools, her extraordinary faith. Nellie's burst in. Petition twist. Vec demands immediate surrender. Claims human no creche, clause voids cross bond. Savra rose, armor snapping back. Court reconvenes, oath holds. They marched out, hall packed again. Vec on dais, petition scroll unfurled. Human tainted, Vec bellowed. Offspring proof requires pure line, surrender mate claim. I take holdings, Savra as consort. Crowd murmured, elders leaned in. Evan stepped forward. Savra's presence loomed at his right, shield and sword. Oath compact stands, accountability proven in deeds, forge right accepts. Nellie's consulted vault hollow. Law permits. Crossbond clause ambiguous, trials decide. Vec lunged, claws extended, guards intercepted, chaos boiled. Savra yanked Evan behind her bulk, tail barricade. Pledge binds. Evan primed sealant sprayer just in case. Her protection enveloped him, reciprocal. He'd guard her legacy same. Nellie's banged her staff. Trial set dawn, endurance pit. Legacy forge begins. Vec retreated, eyes venomous. Pit claims him. Crowd chanted Savra's name, then Evan's. Human whispered among scales. Sanctum again, Savra paced. Evan calibrated his kit. Plasma lance adapters, biosealants tuned for creche wounds. She stopped. Claws framed his face. Why fight? Safe worlds call humans. Evan met her gaze. Checklist incomplete. Your line, our bond. Lips met fierce, testing. Fangs nipped, careful. Tongues synced rhythms. Heat built. Biological differences bridged in pulse. She pulled back, golden eyes fierce. Dawn proves offspring viable. Shared endurance births legacy. Evan nodded. Competence met tradition. Trust sealed. Night deepened. Pit loomed in his visor maps. Lava vents, sheer beasts. Vex champions, elite. Sleep evaded. Savra curled around him. Protector turned protected. Tail heartbeat synced his. Dawn horns blared. They rose, armor donned. Court marched to pit edge. Vec waited below, 3 hulks at his flanks. Behemoth roars echoed. Nellie's raised scroll. Endurance right, survive forge fire, bond proves in unity. Savra clasped Evan's hand. Together! They dropped into the pit. Heat waves hit. Lava bubbled. Behemoths charged, tusked horrors. Evan dodged, kit out. Flank left, vents weak. Savra plasma-lanced the lead. Evan sealed a flank wound mid-leap. Sync perfect. Champions closed. Vec laughed from rim. Break! One behemoth gored a champion. Evan rerouted its plasma core, overloaded. Explosion cleared path. Savra pinned the last. Clawed a throat, mercy spared. Pit hushed. They climbed out, singed alive. Bond scanners blared green, fertility viable. Cross line strong. Crowd erupted. Elders sealed vault, legacy affirmed. But Vec lunged to the pit rim. His claws scraped stone. Halt, legacy unsealed. Crowd silenced. Savra tensed beside Evan, her tail coiling tight around his leg. Heat from the pit still scorched their armor. Nellie's unrolled his scroll. State claim, Vec rune, Vec's voice boomed. Final judgment combat. Savra's line demands blood right. She fights me or forfeits. Gasps rippled. Savra's grip crushed Evan's gauntlet. Tradition locked her. Widows dueled challengers or lost clanhold. Evan scanned his visor logs. Pit data streamed, timestamps, vitals, scanner greens. Objection. All eyes snapped to him. Vec sneered. Softskin speaks. Nellie's tilted his crested head. Human consort evidence. Evan tapped his wrist pad. Hollow projected endurance right footage. Behemoth takedowns. Plasma reroutes. Bond scan peaks. Recorded trials complete. Fertility viable. Unity proven. Blood right skips protocol. Vec roared. Substitute invalid. Law binds her flesh to mine. Savra growled low. He lies. Cite code. Evan cross-referenced archives Nellie's had uploaded pre-pit. Subsection 47, proxy endurance if prior rights green. Precision gauntlet, partners linked, violations disqualify. Nellie's eyes widened, scroll hummed as he queried. Verified, human recalls flawlessly, Vec accept or withdraw. Vec's flanks shifted, his 3 champions tensed. I accept, but I choose gauntlet, lethal. Lawful terms only, Evan said. Non-lethal precision, Savra and I pair, your team runs parallel, first violation loses. Crowd murmured approval, Vec's mandibles clicked fury. Done, forge vault awaits. Nellie's banged his staff. Gauntlet set, dawn execution, witnesses bind. Savra pulled Evan aside as court dispersed. Her golden eyes locked his. Risk mounts, Vec cheats law. Evan checked kit seals. We checklist it, your strength my sink, expose him clean. She nuzzled his helmet, fierce press. Bond holds. Night fell in the clanhold spires. Evan calibrated gear by glow lamps. Savra oiled her plasma lances, tail brushing his back. Trust pulsed in silence. Dawn horns pierced fog. They marched to Forge Vault, a cavern of grinding gears, acid vents, and razor webs. HoloNets mapped paths, lethal precision required. Nellies at Overlook. Rules, traverse core line, link bonds active, touch proxies disqualify, endurance logs judge. Vec grinned below, his champions hulked, claws etched with kill marks. Crush the soft skin. Evan clasped Savra's hand. Bond scanner hummed green, pulses synced. Flank sync, vents first. They dropped onto start plates. Gears whirred, vault activated, acid vents hissed left. Evan dodged spray, visor plotting flows. Right weave, 3 seconds. Savra vaulted, tail whipping balance. Her lance sealed event mid-stride. Perfect. Vex lead charged ahead, smashing a proxy drone. Nellies noted, minor fault, continue. Razor webs loomed, vibrating filaments thigh-thick. Evan scanned frequencies. Pulse jam at 2.4 hertz, your lance rhythm, she nodded. They synced pulses, Evan's pad emitted tone, her lance matched. Webs slackened, they slipped through unscathed. Vec bellowed. His second champion slashed webs, filaments snapped back, gashing hide, blood sprayed. Fault logged, Nellies called, halfway, gear maw. Teeth spun at 500 RPM, Evan grapneled overhead. Pull sync your mass leads. Savra anchored, heaved him up. He dropped line, her climb flawless, claws gripping microholds. They crossed as one. Vex team brute forced. Champion slipped, foot crushed, howl echoed, third fault. Evan grinned under visor. Human steady, checklist halved risks. Core chamber, plasma nodes pulsed. Touch wrong sequence overload. Evan recited pattern from scans. Blue, red, hold, green burst. Savra mirrored, lances precise. Nodes stabilized, path cleared. Vec roared frustration. His lead overloaded a node, backlash singed armor, fourth fault. Nellies' voice cut sharp, disqualified, Vec rune violates precision thrice over. Evan and Savra hit in plate. Bond scanner peaked, fertility metrics off charts. Crossline viability, 98%. Vault hushed, Vec stormed plates. Rigged, human tricks. Log seal, Nelly said, scroll projected faults, Vec's team ragged, violations stacked. Savra stepped forward, towering over Vec, her voice thundered. Evan hail co-guardian, line secured, new right, open mate choice. Clans bid alliance, not conquest. Crowd exploded, cheers mixed shock, elders nodded, vault seals glowed acceptance. Vex snarled, claws flexing, this ends nothing, blood debt calls. Evan met his glare, visor locked targets, competence rewritten rules. But Vec's eyes burned deeper schemes. Savra's tail wrapped Evan possessive. Together guard, Nelly's raised staff. Right evolves, witnesses depart. They climbed to overlook. Clans pressed close, whispers of human edge spread. Savra leaned in. Legacy hours. Prove Dawn offspring next? Evan squeezed her claw. Checklist ready. But Vec vanished into shadows. Rivals whisper trailed. Proxy falls, true mate claims. Forge Vault rumbled approval. New era dawned, trust forged in fire, yet challengers lurked. Evan scanned shadows. Kit primed, ordinary held extraordinary. Savra's golden gaze softened. You rewrite stars, little fierce, he smirked. Just fix the code. Clans chanted their names, bond pulsed stronger, legacy bloomed cross-species, Vec's absence itched, Evan cued alerts. Dawn proved viable, but night hid blades. They walked arm in claw, court spires loomed. Rivals watched. One human tweak shifted clans, trust earned, love sealed, but Vec plotted blood. Evan's pad pinged, anomaly in vault logs, Vec's tampering trace, hook sharpened. Savra sensed tension. Alert! Prep phase 2, Evan said. Competence met Fang. Legacy defended, crowd parted. They entered hold, doors sealed. Intimacy beckoned, her fangs grazed neck. Prove now. Heat bridged worlds, night claimed them. But visor blinked, intruder vector inbound. Vex struck first. Evan rolled clear, Kit auto-deployed shield. Savra plasma charged, duel ignited anew. Competence turned lethal, they synced. Rivals broke, legacy endured.